What is up, everybody? Welcome back into another rookie mock draft video. Again, this time running through an actual person's roster and draft picks from a real league from you guys down in the comment section below. So this video is for Jacob Biedermann. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that last name, but Jacob, thank you so much for offering up your league, your roster, your draft picks for this exercise. This one's going to be for you. So Jacob's league is a 12-team Superflex, and his roster is as follows. He's got Dak Prescott at the quarterback position, and then Taylor Heinicke, Gardner Minshew, and Kyle Trask. He's got Antonio Gibson, Damian Harris, Tony Pollard, and then some backups at the running back position. He's got Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman, Allen Lazard, and then some backup roster type players for the remainder of his wide receivers. Then he's got Dalton Schultz, Mike Gesicki, Jonnu Smith, Taysom Hill at the tight end position, and Hunter Long. So overall, it's a pretty solid roster. He definitely has some holes in here, Jacob. I'm sure you're aware of the holes that you have here, specifically at the quarterback position and the running back position. But he's got some ammo, some firepower in the rookie drafts to kind of help address both of those needs. So we can move right on over to the rookie draft board and see the picks that he has. He has the 1.01 and the 1.06 in the first round. I'm hoping both of those picks are going to address the biggest needs on his roster. Then he's also got the 201, the 210, a couple thirds, and a fourth rounder as well. So I say let's just get things started and see where we're going, because the 1.01, Breece Hall, easy peasy, not much more we need to talk about there at Breece Hall. I mean, number one is the best player available. It's the only player that you should really be taking at the 1.01 in either one quarterback or Superflex leagues. It really fills a need for you at the running back position because you really only have Antonio Gibson. So inserting Breece Hall in there as a good young player is also a really good deal as well. So overall, I mean, it's just Breece Hall. The only other thing I would say is that if you wanted to, you could look to trade out of the 1.01. And I've even gone into the DLF trade analyzer and I've played around with a couple trades for the 1.01 to see what kind of quarterback that you can get for that pick in a trade. And you could definitely probably get, I'd say, roundabouts most of the rookies from last year. Otherwise, I think another move that you could look to make is the 101 plus Antonio Gibson. I think Antonio Gibson is a really big sell right now, and you might not like that just because that leaves you with not a lot of anything at the running back position. But I think as you're kind of working through this and improving your team, I think it would be prudent to look at the quarterback position, solidify that first. If that comes at the expense at your running back position, I think that's totally fine, because running backs can be really easy to come by either through trading other wide receivers away, breaking down the quarterbacks, moving a tight end for a running back as well, or even drafting some in 2023 if you have your own first round pick and it ends up being relatively high. That could also work out as well. So you might even be able to trade the 1.01 and Antonio Gibson for like a Lamar Jackson or maybe a Kyler Murray or a Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, somebody of that nature to help solidify and lock down your QB1 and your QB2 to pair with Dak Prescott in a Superflex league. That would be really, really fantastic. So I would just advise just looking into that and seeing what you could possibly get. If nothing's really biting that way, then I'm definitely okay with taking Breece Hall. I mean, that's definitely fine as well, and definitely a very good consolation prize. So now we have the 1.06, and in a Superflex league, if you don't move the 1.01 for a quarterback or do some sort of maneuvering for that, I would actually recommend going with Kenny Pickett. That gives you another starting quarterback, hopefully, or at least sometime in 2022. Another starting quarterback that you're not getting from Taylor Heinicke or Gardner Minshew or anybody like that. And Kenny Pickett could even be the week one starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers in a fantastic situation with some really good wide receivers. So I would be looking to take Kenny Pickett here. If you don't move the 1.01, if you do take Breece Hall, Kenny Pickett would be an absolute must for me at this 1.06. Or maybe if you want to keep the 101 and you want to trade the 106 and Antonio Gibson for kind of a lower tier quarterback as well to also pair with Dak Prescott, I'm totally on board with that too. But if you keep both these picks, if you keep the 101 and the 1.06, ideally for you, what I would like to see is Breece Hall and Kenny Pickett. But I could absolutely be talked into, if Garrett Wilson is still there, I could be talked into taking Garrett Wilson and then trade another wide receiver or a wide receiver and Antonio Gibson for a quarterback. Figure all that other stuff out later. But at least right now, ideally, Breece Hall and Kenny Pickett. So up again at the 2.01, then we also have the 210. This is a really interesting situation here, and I think this is probably the most ideal situation to grab another wide receiver of any of the ones that kind of fall if James Cook does get taken ahead of you. If James Cook, if you replace Jahan Dotson with James Cook right here, it's a much different conversation because it's not really looking as appealing as where we are right now. You're probably going to end up taking, in my advice, probably David Bell. Maybe I don't really like Dameon Pierce. I think that's a little bit too high there. I think it's really high for a lot of these other players. Maybe you just trade out of this pick entirely, or just include this to get a really, really good quarterback in that case. In this specific mock draft, I'm taking Jahan Dotson here. I think that's pretty easy. If Jahan Dotson is not here, and like I said, if it is James Cook or David Bell or Isaiah Spiller or Dameon Pierce, my pick would still be David Bell. I like his opportunity, even though he was a third-round pick. That's still solid draft capital for a wide receiver. But I love the opportunity with him on the Cleveland Browns as the new Jarvis Landry with Deshaun Watson. I think he's in a fantastic spot situationally. I also do think that he's a very good wide receiver, so I love that as well. So I would end up taking David Bell. But for the purpose of this, I can't pass on Jahan Dotson here, and I'm just taking Jahan Dotson. At the 210, I absolutely love this. I'm taking Wan'Dale Robinson here. This would be roundabouts where I would expect his ADP to kind of be down here at the 210. I've taken him early in the mid-second as well in other mock drafts, but you're sitting perfectly at the 210 to grab Wan'Dale Robinson at a very good value. And I absolutely love the prospect. He's a fantastic analytical prospect. A lot of production at Kentucky in his final season. Got drafted in the second round, and we might not necessarily like the New York Giants landing spot, but a lot of these other wide receivers kind of need a couple things to go for them in the right way for their situation to improve. Wan'Dale is absolutely one of those guys. They're not having Daniel Jones at quarterback next year, so another quarterback coming in here with Brian Daboll as the head coach, a creative head coach, an offensive head coach, I think could absolutely do wonders for Wan'Dale Robinson, and I love the prospect and the player, and getting him there at the 210 I think is absolutely fantastic. So I would definitely recommend grabbing him there in the late second. So we're up again at the 3.04 and the 3.06. If you've watched a couple of my videos already in these rookie mock draft series, you already know who I'm taking. I'm taking Keaontay Ingram. That one's really easy for me. Basically, my rule here is when you get down into the third round, anywhere in the third round, I'm taking any of Tyler Algier, Keaontay Ingram, and Tyrion Davis-Price. Those are the three running backs that I'm looking for and targeting in every rookie mock draft in the third round, in that order of Algier, Keaontay Ingram, and Tyrion Davis-Price. And what I love even more is that at the 3.04, we got Keaontay Ingram, and now at the 3.06, we're going to get Tyrion Davis-Price. So we're able to grab two of those guys in this rookie draft. That may or may not be how that actually works out for you in your specific draft, so hopefully that is how it works out. I mean, even if you're able to get Algier and Ingram or Algier and Tyrion Davis-Price, any two of those three running backs would be absolutely fantastic. If you only can pick one of them, or maybe you can't pick any of them, I'd be looking at Khalil Shakir, maybe Zamir White or Brown Robinson are there as well. You can also go with one of the tight ends in Jelani Woods or Greg Dulcich. I think they're fine. Just a lot of different ways to kind of go about this in these third rounds, but I would really be targeting two of those three running backs. And then finally, the 4.11, this is going to be one of so many different people. I mean, just pick your favorite player at this point. I have always been advising Jerome Ford down here just because I think that he's a fantastic player. Kevin Harris is pretty solid. Snoop Connor, you have Kennedy Brooks. I'd be looking for a running back just because that's normally how I draft and what I'd like to advise for. I also think Velus Jones could be interesting just as a day two pick. I know that he's kind of the laughing stock of the wide receivers drafted on day two because he's like 31 years old as a rookie, went to the Chicago Bears, but he has a realistic opportunity to be the wide receiver too for Justin Fields immediately. So if that does happen, I think there's some upside there. Isaiah Pacheco is also interesting as well. I mean, I'm going to take Jerome Ford just because that's who I would take if I were you in this situation. But whoever are the other players that you really like, and if you want to grab your guy, absolutely go for it. Don't feel like you have to take Jerome Ford. But that's who I'm taking here. So that's how I would be looking to take this rookie draft. If I was actually you, I would be looking at Breece Hall at the 1.01 or maybe trading out for a quarterback. Kenny Pickett, the 1.06, or maybe trading out for a quarterback. You have multiple options to do with those first-round picks to acquire a better quarterback out of them, or just take Breece Hall and Kenny Pickett or maybe Garrett Wilson if that also suits your fancy as well. 2.01, most likely a wide receiver there. I would take either Jahan Dotson or David Bell, maybe George Pickens, maybe it's Christian Watson. Whoever kind of falls out of that group is who I would be targeting at the 2.01. You got Wan'Dale Robinson at the 210. Absolutely love that. Keaontay Ingram, Tyrion Davis-Price in the third round with their 304 and 306. Again, just targeting all of those running backs there in the third round. And then the 4.11, I'm taking Jerome Ford, but whoever it is that suits your fancy as your late round dart throw, absolutely take him there at the 411 with who's left on the board. To everybody else out there, I hope that this was helpful to you guys to get an inside look into kind of my process and my thinking as I'm making these picks using an actual person's roster, league, draft picks, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in potentially seeing your team and your draft picks in a video like this, leave a comment down below with all of the information of how many people are in your league, what type of league is it, if it's one quarterback or super flex, your roster, your draft picks, and then when your rookie draft is, so I can give you advice beforehand so it's actually meaningful for you in either a video form, or if I don't do a video, I will respond to you in the comments giving you my advice for what I would do with your picks. So finally, be sure to like this video, leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with me on any of the picks that I made or any of the processes that I was kind of going through. And lastly, hit that subscribe button if you want more awesome videos from the DLF YouTube channel. And with that all being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch y'all later.